Welcome to the Success Ascent. My name is Pat Mancuso. I'm the creator and host of our show. On today's episode, we interview an incredible talent. His name is Frank Crinite. Now, Frank is not your average car salesman. Not only is he not average, he's one of the top car salespeople in the nation. The average person in the automobile industry sells about 6 to 8 cars a month. Frank sells over 100 cars a month with his record month right now at 173. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you're going to enjoy the episode, so on to the ascent. Good afternoon, Facebook friends, YouTube friends, friends from all over the world. This is Pat Mancuso, the creator of the Success Ascent, and we are live today for a podcast interview, and I am very excited about the guests that we are bringing on today. And first, I'm going to share with you, if it's your first time with the Success Ascent, I created this podcast and this show to help entrepreneurs, small to medium-sized business owners, to walk with us on the journey of success. The ascent means is that it's always up, and yet there's always some setbacks along the way. And today is our first go live, if you may, podcast. So we've been doing the traditional way of podcasting. And gentleman that's a mutual friend of Frank's and mine, Ken Walls, encouraged me to go live. And so I am going live from now on with our podcast. So Frank, welcome to the show.
Hey, Pat. So glad to be here, man. Sorry I was running a minute late here, but I love it, man. This is awesome. I'm so blessed and honored to be on here and thankful.
I'm glad that you're here. So let me do a short introduction for those of you that may not know Frank, and I'm not sure who may not know him, because in my research, oh my goodness. So first of all, Frank has been in the auto business, I believe, for about 18 to 19 years. He works in Springfield, PA, at a dealership, Piazza Honda of Springfield. I love that name. And Frank has mastered, and I know mastered is a strong word, you guys, but he has mastered this process of helping people take on a new vehicle. And so I want to just give you some numbers, and Frank, you'll have to correct me on this if I'm not exactly right. The average car auto salesman sells about 3 to 6, maybe 7 cars a month. If they're a top salesman, they might sell 15 to 20, and if they're super tops, maybe 30, and they're just like, the super top. And yet you traditionally are selling 100 plus cars per month, and you've been doing that for 18 years. And so, Frank, what I am excited about is hearing about that, because as an entrepreneur, and I consider you to be an entrepreneur, you're doing something special to be able to do that type of business. And I'd love to have you share that with our listeners. So tell us, Frank, who you are that I left out, and let's just get to know Frank a little bit.
No, I've been doing this. It'll be 21 years this March, and I'm inspired every single day because I don't sell cars. I solve problems for people. I'm in the hospitality business. I am not in the car business. A lot of salespeople don't understand this, right? So, if I walked into the nicest hotel in the world, doesn't matter what it is, the Grand Floridian, the Ritz, whatever, and that concierge made me sit and wait for 4 hours to get in my room. Like, I don't care how nice it is or how great the people there were. I'm never coming back to that hotel ever again for the most part, right? I mean, I might if I have to, but I'm probably not going to because I have a bad taste in my mouth. They didn't make me feel like I was important to them, right? So to me, I try to get everybody through the process as efficiently as possible. And I'm all about hospitality. It's, I've taken the word no out of my repertoire and replaced it with no problem. And that has changed the game for me immensely. Nobody wants to come in to spend money and being told no. So can it always go that way? Not always, but every chance I get, it's no problem. Okay. Because we're going to figure out an option for you.
So I love that. That's the first nugget is instead of no, it's no problem. So Frank, how did you get into the automobile industry?
Seen an ad in the paper. My dad said, go get a job or get out of the house. And no, it was I was working for a company called Green Mountain Energy. Green Mountain Energy was a company that when the electric companies deregulated, that you could switch your friends or your neighbor. Everybody had to switch their electric company. You had to give a certain portion to a different company rather than just the one electric company. So I started there, and just wasn't really what I wanted to do. It just didn't feel right, even though I was really, really good at it. I only had two people the entire time I was doing it actually tell me no. So it worked out really well financially, but it just didn't feel right. It wasn't what I wanted to do. And my dad said, "Why don't you go sell cars? You like cars, you have a Honda." I had a Honda Prelude at the time. I'm like, "Yeah." I went, looked, found an ad in the paper, called up, and I'm like, I got my buddy Bob Burns, who's he retired a few years ago, but I said, "Hey, looking for a job. Why don't you come in for an interview today?" I'm like, I was going to go golfing later this afternoon. He goes, "You know what, buddy? This job's probably not for you. Don't even bother," and hung up on me. I'm like, "What?" I'm like, "Did that just happen?" And so I called right back. I'm like, "Listen," I said, you might have misconstrued what I was saying. I was basically saying I could put my golf off and I'll be there at 2:00. He's like, "All right, great. Come on in at 2:00. That was a Friday afternoon. And I started the next day, Saturday. And my first full month in the car business, I sold 18 cars, and I've never lost a month yet at my dealership. And as far as I can remember, in my organization, we have about 30 dealerships right now. So doing pretty well.
Good for you. Congratulations on that. So, I've been in real estate for a long time. That's kind of my background, where I started in coaching and consulting in the auto industry. And we probably rank there in popularity, right? As far as, where do they rank on the top of salespeople and how people, appeal, if you may. So what are you doing? I know you touched on it a little bit. What are you doing different in that experience, and how are you doing it? I mean, I've watched some of your videos, and you got people coming in and you're spending quality time with them. And so how are you doing that? Like, what are you doing different, and where did you pick up the strategies around that?
Well, they're always evolving and they're always growing, because if you're just set in, hey, this is the way I do things, well, it was like the same thing, like COVID hit for our business, same thing like your business. And, when things like shut down and then opened back up, like everybody was trying to figure out, what are they doing? Like, how do we do this? Well, I've already been being upfront, transparent, giving people numbers up front, offering at-home deliveries, or give me all your paperwork up front. We'll have everything ready for you, so you're not in the dealership for a long time. So my strategy has always been to speed up the process, be transparent by giving everybody all the information up front: pricing, payment, trade-in, whatever it is that you have a question. If I can't give you the answer, I don't deserve to be in the position I am as a sales professional, right? And if I can't give you the answer, I'm just trying to evade the question for some reason, right? And so why would I want to come in and spend my time, give somebody my credit information, tell them all my personal life story, and sit in the dealership for hours if they can't give me the answers that I'm looking for, because they're scared, that salesperson in that dealership scared that they're going to take your numbers and go somewhere else. Well, that's your own fear. That's not my fear. My fear is that I don't give you enough information and you don't feel comfortable coming in and doing actual business with me. So, my whole thing is just give everybody all the information up front. Like, just think about it. If you logged on to Amazon, right, to buy whatever, right, you log on to buy a mouse, okay, and it says, hey, the mouse could be anywhere from $13.99 to $39.99. We'll tell you once the package arrives how much you actually have to pay for it. Are you going to click buy now on that mouse? No, you're not going to do that, right? So the car business is like one of these like old school, you have to do it this way, forced through a process. I don't ever want to force anybody through a buying process. This is their process. They get to dictate to me how they want to do it, not how I'm going to force you through to make it do it our way. And it's been a revelation for people, to the fact that sometimes they don't even want a Honda, but they don't want to go anywhere else and put up with, what they know they're going to have to deal with buying a car somewhere else. So they just come get a car from me. It works out great.
Well, and Honda's a great car. I mean, lots of
great car.
And is that where you've been your whole career?
21 years at the same dealership with the same people, same ownership. I got phenomenal owners. They support me, phenomenal management staff. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better scenario than what I have right now. So, I'm very blessed. I know that, to be able to run my own business inside a business. People are like, Frank, why don't you buy your own car dealership? I'm like, well, I don't want to part with, $14 million just to put my name on the building, right? And then have to deal with inventory managers, employees, insurances. I get to run my own business inside my business. The Piazzas supply me with all the inventory, supply me with, with all the employees. It'd be like, Pat going out and buying all these houses just to sell them, right? No, that's not how a real estate agent works, or a real.
Don't you love technology at the height of the technology? There you go.
Good.
There you go.
No, good. And listen, life is not what happens to you; it's how you react to it, right?
Absolutely.
We're good.
Absolutely.
We're right back in there. Right.
So you were saying you left off with, why would I own my dealership? I'm running a business inside of a business, and that's a great mindset, right? And I'm guessing, if I know anything about the auto industry, I've got a few friends that own some dealerships. You're probably the longest tenured person there outside of the person who owns the dealership.
Pretty close. Well, I mean, some of my management's been here. My general manager, Ray Mancini, he's been here, I think, close to 30 years now. My general sales manager just retired. He was here since 1986. So I mean, this place is, yes, we are hustle bustle. This is a legit dealership, but we treat it more like, a family atmosphere, which is great. So you get the best of both worlds. You get the advantage of having, 500-600 cars on the lot between new and used, and you get the same down to earth family atmosphere that people really respect and love about this dealership. So I've been headhunted many of times to other dealerships, and it's just like there's no reason for me to ever want to go or be anywhere else, right? I mean, I have it really good here, and my customer base is here, and I get to run my own show. Basically, it works out phenomenal.
So let's talk about like the operations in a normal day. I mean, some of the videos that I watched before we came together today, I mean, there's such a strong relationship there before they, as they walk into the dealership. So how are you cultivating that? How are you, kind of cultivating that in that process? Like, what are you doing with your database, with your past clients, so that they walk in and it's like your brother's walking into the dealership?
I humanize myself every day on social media. Like, you see everything I do. So all my clients are my friends for the most part on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. We stay connected, right? So at some point I become, hey, the guy that sold me a car and we took a picture with, right? To, hey, there's the guy, Frank, with his 3 kids out doing, at the zoo today, out at, Kalahari, out at wherever we're at. There's Frank, Eagles fan, you know what I mean? Down in the tunnel. There's Frank, doing his charity stuff. Here's Frank on here, giving out as much knowledge as I can to try to, get somebody inspired or level somebody up to, be able to do great things, like, and you humanize yourself to your customer base. Too many salespeople, whether it's real estate agents, whether it's, car salespeople, whether you're selling, MLM, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Like, that's all they do all day is just shove that in your face, hey, buy from me, or, hey, look at me, I'm celebrating, another sale. No, your celebration has to be about the client, has to be about the customer. And then, listen, you need to tell a story. You need to show people who you actually are. Like, who would you want to buy something from? Doesn't matter if it's a car, a TV, a house, right? You don't necessarily want to buy from a realtor. You don't necessarily want to buy from a car salesman. You want to buy from somebody that you feels like they're your friend, because they are. And that's the secret to social media that, like, everybody doesn't get. Like, you have to be social media, right? Meaning you have to be social. You have to, people are like, well, I'm a very private person, but I want to have this business on social media. It doesn't work that way, right? I mean, obviously you got to keep some things private, right? This isn't an open book, right? We don't put everything out on social media. Most of the stuff is the good stuff, but that's okay, right? There's enough bad stuff out in the world if you want to turn on whatever news channel that it is, right? So put all the good stuff out, put all the good vibes, the good quotes, the stuff you're doing in the community, the stuff you're doing with your family. Just humanize yourself to people. That's really all it is.
Well, and you did that. I watched a video, and it was kind of funny because I'm out of the Twin Cities, Minnesota. We had a snowstorm this morning, and I watched one of your videos where there was a snowstorm that morning, and you've got eggs and bread and milk, and you're telling them to come to the dealership to pick up their eggs and milk and bread instead of going to the grocery store. And I just thought that what a great idea.
Right. I mean, just hook everybody up, right? I mean, you take care of your clients. It might seem goofy, but legit, I don't get it. Like, I I don't eat white bread really that much unless it's on a turkey sandwich the day after Thanksgiving, right, with some tomatoes and mayo. But
Yeah.
the milk, I don't know. I guess my kids eat cereal every once in a while, and but everybody, every time I walk in Acme, there's no bread, there's no milk, and there's no eggs anywhere. So I'll just go out and buy everybody bread, milk, and eggs, and people, they love it when they come in. They're like, man, let's just go see Frank. Let's get a car today. Let's go get a picture. Like, let's go have fun.
Yeah.
Buying a car, right? We buying a house. Like, we don't realize sometimes, yes, this is our job, but this is that client's moment, right? Even though they might not seem like, this is the fun thing to do. It is. It's celebration. Celebrate it. Have fun with it. Enjoy it. Embrace it. Like, this doesn't come around all the time. And if you make it feel like that, because that's the way it is, then they don't mind buying a car. If you make it a bang your head against the wall, got to sit at the dealership for hours, wait for this, wait for that, we're going to go to lunch, we'll come back, we're ready for you. Like, why would you want to do it? It would be like going to the dentist to get a tooth pulled. Why would you want to do it? Like, you don't, right? So we make it a fun process, make it very easy for everybody.
So what's one thing in the system, if you may, because it's clearly a system. I mean, you don't sell that many cars and help that many people in a day without having some type of system. So what would you share are some things that you've learned from a system standpoint, whether it's insurance agents, real estate agents, anybody in sales? What have you learned?
I partner with every single one of them, right? So you need reciprocal business to grow to more than average levels. When I say average, I mean, I think average is around 30 cars. A lot of salesmen out there that think they're doing great. They're selling 30 cars a month, and that's awesome. Like, I mean, maybe that's just your level of success, right? And I call it leveling up and then leveling out, right? At some point, you just level out because you don't know where else to get your customer flow from. So in businesses like, real estate or business, like an insurance agency, the number one thing that's important to a business is cash flow, having that cash flow come in, right? So you can spend it, put it out there, put money on the banks, pay employees, payroll, all that stuff. For a salesperson, the most important thing is customer flow. You need flows of customers coming from all different angles, not just your own self-generated business. People say all the time, oh, you probably just work off of all your own customer base. At this point, well, if I did, then eventually I level up and I level out, meaning that like some of my customer base dies off. Some of my customer base, they don't want a Honda anymore. They want to spend double and go get an Audi or, whatever it is. So you need to constantly be regenerating that customer base. So where do you do that? Well, I partner with real estate agents. I partner with insurance agents. I partner with local pizza shops. I have reciprocal business that comes in from all these sources because I also send out business, right? I use my power in the community, my influence to send business to people that do business the same way that I do. I know they have the client's best interest is first. That's number one, right? I'll never send anybody just to send somebody somewhere. I have to know that you truly care about your clients, or I'm not going to put my name on it. So reciprocal business is one of the biggest ways that you're going to be able to grow your business.
Yeah. And that's a great point, Frank, where you're really surrounding yourself with people who do business the same way that you do. So I think I already know the answer. However, is there anything that you would share about asking for referrals from people? I mean, one of the things I noticed on your social media is you're not posting sold another car and there's a picture of that. I mean, that might be on occasion, but you're really posting stuff of value and impacting people. So what are you doing to get referrals other than that? Is there anything else, any little thoughts or strategies?
First of all, you have to earn the right to ask for a referral. So just because you sold something doesn't mean you've earned the right to ask that customer, that client, for a referral, right? You have to actually give them the service, like red carpet service. Like we literally have, I turned it into a blue carpet, but I literally have a red carpet outside. We give world-class customer service and hospitality to all of our clients. Once you do that, and once you get them through the process, you celebrate it. And I ask every single client after, before COVID, shake their hand, look them right in the eye and say, did I do a good job for you? And, overwhelmingly, everybody's like, man, I actually can't even believe that I bought a car. Like, this has never happened this fast. You know, sometimes I can't even get a pizza at the local pizza shop on a Friday night this fast. And you answered all our questions and got us through the process and didn't waste our time. And we appreciate that, you know, and I did that by being transparent and being straight up with somebody, not beating around the bush and, you know, not giving them the information they need to be able to make an educated decision. So at that point, I earned the right to ask for a referral. Now, we have plenty of stuff that we teach in a lot of our sales classes with how you ask for a referral and how you get referrals and how you get that person to actually introduce you to all their family and their friends. There's a lot of ways to do it that would take us, you know, way longer than we're going to be on this podcast for. But you have to earn the right to ask for a referral.
So let's talk about your past clients, if you may, that database of people. And you've sold over 13,000 vehicles since you got in. More now?
I think we're about 16,000. I got to update my social media.
16,000 vehicles. So you have a database of a lot of people.
A lot of people.
And I watched it again in doing the prep. I've read you get up about 5:30 and, you know, you go through your routine and then you're touching base on social media and different vehicles, whether it's text. How do you keep track of it all?
There's this really unbelievable software that I have, like mind-blowing software. I can't believe how much it actually keeps me organized. It's called a pen and a notebook, and I write down absolutely everything. So anybody texts me, calls me, emails me, instant message, I just write it down. Boom, 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 boom. And I just go through during the course of the day. I know I have to get back to somebody, cross it off. I got to get back to them again. I'll just put it on the next page so it carries over. It's so simple, right? Like, there's all these apps and all these things that are supposed to make your life so much easier. But the problem is you got to put so much information into them and then tell that app to remind you at a certain time. And like today, our podcast, like you sent me the reminder, great, it stored my calendar. I never look at my calendar. I wrote down to Thursday, 3 p.m. Boom. I had to, jump on the podcast here with you. And that's the way we do it. So it's simplicity, especially at these levels. You need to keep everything very simple.
Well, and I knew that it was the yellow pad, and that's why I wanted to pull it out, because you talk about that, and I just love that. So, Frank, we always talk on the show about setbacks and challenges. What's one challenge or one ceiling maybe that you hit that you had to break through, and how did you do that?
50 cars was a real challenge for me. So at 50 cars a month, my desk looked like a bomb hit it. There was papers all over the place. My general manager was a very organized person. He used to come over to me and he would just shake his head like I'd be like, it's organized. I know where everything's at. It's my own system. He'd be like, okay, I don't think so, but okay. He would be on me about stuff like that. And I would kind of just brush it off. At some point I had to get organized, right? So getting organized helped me get a little bit past that level. Stop making excuses for myself and reading my own press clippings, meaning like all the bank reps that were coming in, Honda itself telling me how great I was doing, some of my sales managers, my friends, just people around me saying attaboy, and actually listening and believing that hype that I was actually doing good, where deep down inside, I knew there was another level. I just had to unlock it and had to figure out my own way to get to it, because at that point, there was no sales trainers out there teaching how to sell more than 30 cars. 30 cars was like the pinnacle. Like, how to sell 30 cars was like, if we got you to 30 cars, boom, you're a rock star. You're making, X number of dollars. They're the hitters. They're the people that you leave alone in the dealership. Well, once I stopped believing my own press clippings and actually came up with a marketing plan for myself to get out in the community, start using social media when Facebook was towards the beginning stages, start actually asking for referrals after I earned them, start going into businesses, reciprocal business, explaining to them who I am. If they didn't already know who I was through word of mouth community, actually introducing myself, going to community events and showing up and caring, not going there to sell a car. Like, people go, well, how do I sell a car when I go to this charity event? You don't. That's like saying, hey, I'm going to go to my cousin's wedding and I'll probably sell 6 cars. Well, you don't go to your cousin's wedding to sell anything. You go to your cousin's wedding to celebrate, him getting married or her getting married, right? You go there to socialize and have fun, right? Whatever it is that you do, dance, drink, have fun, whatever it is at a wedding you do. Now, the end result of that could be, yeah, you meet some people and you do some business, but you can't go in with it with the intent of, hey, I'm going to this charity event or I'm going to this community event to actually sell something. So you actually have to care about the things that you show up for, the things that you support. That helped me immensely to start growing, myself and my own emotional intelligence, and then also in my sales career.
So what's the biggest car sales month you've ever had? What's the number?
153.
And
it's too low. Not enough.
It's not enough. I love it.
I let myself down that month. That should have been a 175 to 180 month. So, and that's really my mindset. Like people are like, oh, this guy, blah, blah, blah. No, that's the truth. Like that's really what it should have been. I slacked off for a couple of days, and it won't happen again. Let's put it that way.
And you're not working 7 days a week. I mean, this isn't like you're working 7 days a week doing this. You have a balance.
No, I'm right now. I'm back to about almost 5 days a week because I'm changing my business model a little bit here about how we do things. I recently hired my first. I call her my teammate, not my assistant. She's my teammate. She's on Frank's. We're team customer. That's all it is. We're taking care of Frank's fans and Frank's customers. Right. That who's next is all about who can we help next, who can we serve next. Who are we next in line to make sure it's getting taken care of properly, right? So she's with me 5 days a week. So right now we're doing 5 days a week. My goal is to scale this back to about 4 days within the year, and then maybe even more, and increase the productivity of what I'm doing. And you can only do that if you change the process, not just keep doing the same old school sales process that people have been doing for years in the car business.
Well, I'm gonna talk to you about that before we get off the show. I always ask my guests, what's the best advice you've ever been given? What's the best advice you've ever been given by mentor, coach, friend, parent?
Wow, what's the best advice? Like legit, there's like so much advice that I've gotten and just recently. But my buddy Ali Rita says like there is no beginning and there is no end, which basically just means like you need to just do it to your fullest, like every single month, right? So, I come in every month and it's the 31st of the month every month, even if there's not 31 days, right? We treat everything as it's the same. So I don't ever run to a finish line. Like in a lot of businesses, it's quarterly or monthly, right? I don't know how real estate business reports are. Ours is monthly, which is kind of weird. Most businesses are quarterly, and you'll have salespeople that have this great month and they get there and then they pull up. Right. Meaning they run to the finish line, right? You're in a race and you run, you hit that ribbon and you pull up and you look back and you want to talk about all the success that you had. You want these trophies and celebrations. Well, once you realize that it's not about the trophies and the celebrations, it's actually about the journey. Right. Like that's what fuels me, not that trophy at the end, right? You get that trophy, you stand up on a stage and a couple of people clap that don't even know you, right? And they say, great job, congratulations. Like, at 42 years old, do I really need a trophy? No, I need to get back and get myself focused on helping my clients grow my business and get my mindset right to where it needs to go. So there is no beginning. There is no end. My buddy Ali Rita, that meant a lot to me when he said that. And, he's right, because you got to run through the finish line, not to the finish line.
Let's flip that upside down. What's the worst advice you've ever been given that hopefully you didn't follow? And if you did, you'd tell others never to follow it?
Just all these negative connotations that are in the car business, right? Just, go out and just tell the customer, well, if I could get you to today, would you do? Like, if you're asking questions like that, like you're the only one that actually doesn't know the answer to it, right? So people are here usually not because they want to hang out at a car dealership. They're either here to get information or have you solved their problem? And they don't let you solve their problem until they feel comfortable with you. Right. So, to be comfortable, a lot of people are already comfortable with me because they see me on social media, right? They know who they're going to get. Like I'm the same person here as I am if we're hanging out in the showroom, if we're, out at a Eagles game, maybe I'm a little louder and maybe a little more obnoxious at an Eagles game, but I'm the same person you're going to get. So the best, like the greatest thing that ever happens to me, like when I really am like, wow, like this is actually working, is when people start referring customers and clients over to you and they've never met me, they've never bought a car from me, but they see everybody here celebrating their cars. They hear all the talk on social media about how easy of a process it is. I can't believe we got a car that quick. Like that's when you're starting to make headway. Like that was my aha moment. Like, wow, I got 5 referrals this week from somebody I've never met. I mean, I know who they are on social media, but I've never sold them a car. I've never met them. They just know friends of friends. And they said, I trust using my name enough to go see Frank. He'll be able to help you. He'll be able to solve your problem. So, that was it for me.
Well, and I noticed you have a ton of reviews as well, and it's like 5s all day long. And I know that, again, that's one of the things that doesn't happen a lot in the automobile world. So, Frank, I want to shift gears, and I want to prepare you to give us one final thought. A great book you've read or you're reading recently that you would suggest to entrepreneurs or business owners. Anything that jumps out?
The Magic of Thinking Big. Huge turning point in my life, like just to open my mind to how much that there actually is. The pinnacle that you think is the top is not, right? There's always another level. And if another human being got there, then why can't you get there, right? So that book really opened my mind. It was one of the reasons that we formed our Pinnacle Society. So we have a training platform that we train all the top sales professionals in the country. You have to average close to 30 cars a month. You have to make, above 6 figures, a bunch of criteria to get there, because a lot of those salespeople in your industry and my industry, they get left alone, right? The managers or the people, they think, oh man, that he's killing it. They got it figured out. Don't bother them. And to a certain extent, somewhat true. But at the same point, there needs to be somebody that trains them for the next level, shows them how to grow up through the levels, right? Because I did it the hard way, right? I didn't have anybody teaching me. So it was trial and error. And I made a lot of mistakes. Trust me, I made a lot of mistakes trying to grow my business. That's why I got stuck at that 50, 60 car level, even though I knew that I had a business that was greater than that. I had to figure it out myself. Well, now there's a blueprint, and with our Pinnacle Society, we've been, the people that have, the members that have signed up so far, they're crushing it, right? Because they don't need the base. They don't need the 101 or, how to post a picture and all this stuff. They need the actual, what we're doing behind the scenes, right? Behind this black thing here, to actually level the game up with our marketing, prospecting, how to speed up the process and everything. So the magic of thinking big and just finding somebody that's doing it bigger and better than I am, so that I can learn a different way and grow my levels.
Well, and I love that. And you also you've created courses to help, people grow in their business. And I'm going to put that up here so people can see it. But, would you say that if there was an entrepreneur, business owner, that these programs would help them as well?
Yeah. I mean, I'm training right now on my, not in the Pinnacle Society. You have to qualify to get in there. It's not like, hey, you can just sign up and pay and come play with us. It doesn't work that way. There's certain criteria, but on my Frank's Elite, like I'm training over 200 salespeople right now, and they're not all in the auto industry. Some of them selling Sea-Doos, selling boats, selling snowmobiles. I have a guy out in Kentucky selling trailers. They're using everything that I have, because I'm not selling a product, right? I'm selling myself. I'm marketing myself. We're giving out all the hospitality to the customer. Like you could take this to any industry. Real estate doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, well, you're selling an experience is what you're selling. That's different. Yeah. You're selling experience. And the thing that I appreciate about you is I've interviewed a lot of people and in my travels over the years, is you're real. I can tell that you're real, and I can tell that this comes from your heart, and that shows up. I mean, it absolutely shows up. So what would be one final thought you would leave with our listeners today, Frank? You've been amazing, by the way. I'm just so grateful that Ken opened my mind and my ears to get you on the show. What would be one final thought you'd share before we leave today?
Well, I do want to thank Ken Walls. He's been one of my biggest supporters. He's been one of my best friends, is one of my best friends, and has always been there for me, no matter what it is, business-wise, personal. So he's one of the great human beings in my life, and you don't always get a lot of great human beings that get to be in your life. Ken Walls is definitely one of them. So Ken, first of all, I appreciate you. My final thought is, listen, right? So everybody thinks I'm at the top of my game. And yeah, I guess, as far as like what car sales people have done in the past, I am, but there's plenty of room at the top, right? I don't want to be up here all by myself. That's why I'm out there giving all this information. That's why I'm doing these podcasts, right? I want everybody up here celebrating with me, not down there like just cheering me on. I mean, that's all great, but at some point, it is lonely at the top if nobody else is up there with you. So like that's what we call it at the Pinnacle Society. It's no longer lonely at the top. We want everybody else up there with us. So there's plenty of room up there. Don't put caps on yourself. Don't put limits on yourself just because you haven't gotten there yet. If somebody else has gotten there, there's a way to do it. Like you just got to follow the blueprint, follow the process.
I love it. I love it. Well, Frank, thanks again. And for our listeners, remember, you can always go to the www.thesuccessascent.com, subscribe at your favorite podcast source. And Frank, again, I can't thank you so much. I do apologize for the Eagles this year. The Vikings. And the
We're good. Don't worry about it. We'll be fine. We're good next year. Don't worry about it.
We got this quarterback we could send you if you need a quarterback, but we can't.
Nah, we're going to be fine. Don't believe all the news presses. We're good. I got the inside track. We're good.
I love it. I love it. Well, hey, have a great day. Go make some people's day and put them in a new vehicle. Thanks again, Frank.
Thank you so much. Appreciate the opportunity. Thanks, Pat.
Yeah. Bye-bye. If you've not yet subscribed, please go to your favorite podcast source and subscribe to The Success Ascent, or simply go to www.thesuccessascent, and that's ASCENT.com, thesuccessascent.com. Thanks so much for joining us today. We look forward to catching you on the next ascent.